have many ways to disengage. You didn't mention also in the bot lane, we got the Thresh. I mean, come on, the Lantern.
Oh,
It's a pretty good
always.
tool. Yeah, but I would maybe say that there is decent setup. At least once you hit level 6, Kaito and Nemo will have access to crowd control, which could maybe set up some of those dives, but we'll see how it goes.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to our producer, Mr. Krish. English is just not coming to me this morning. Not enough coffee, clearly. Chris Edgeworth, sir, thank you so much. We had huge issues with our production, and he was able to get it quick and fly going. Also, shout out to JReal, our host for the day. Didn't have an opportunity to really jump in and get into the nitty-gritty of CJ versus Hawks, but I mean, he's there for the post-game. He's there for the post-game, at least, Kashka.
Yeah, at least we will get to discuss the what surely will be some glorious League of Legends. Also taking a just quick look across the runes as they came up on the screen. Both supports, I see they are in the Church of Glacial Augment, which, I mean, I don't hate personally.
Oh god, that feels rough if you're a Hawks fan right now. Shout out
Yeah.
to Shimo, our producer, one of our admins. A huge Hawks fan. 42% Blitzcrank Stan is going. Oh, that's gotta hurt, man. That's gotta hurt. Why do you think it's so low? Why do you think it's so low? Is it just because of the Hecarim pick or something, or?
I mean, probably if we like statistically speaking, yeah. However, we have an early engage coming in the bot lane with Nemo throwing down the Zenith Blade and just a bit of damage back and forth. Marble and Ryan actually doing pretty well in that one.
Yeah, I think they're doing pretty fine. I mean, obviously at the moment you will get priority in your laning phase as this Graves in the first early levels. Obviously afterwards, Gnar begins to slowly start making your life more and more difficult. But early game, I believe this Graves should have it. Obviously, it depends a lot more on how well Nap can juggle his mini and Mega Gnar forms. The better juggling he does, the more options he'll have. Obviously, when he goes into Mega Gnar, he just can't do much against Kanatsu's Graves, but I think top laners are going to do top laner things. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much unless either of our junglers pathing up. And talking about our junglers pathing up, that is where Blank is currently going, whereas on the other side, Kassin is actually rotating around to this bot side, and they've got bot lane pushing already. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see maybe them come around as we can see some of those warning pings go around. He's going to do golems, and I wonder if he'll actually try and go into the Enclave in bot side and try and look for a lane gank.
It is definitely possible. We'll see if it happens. I mean, Nemo has been controlling those bushes so well as another engage. That is a nice hook landing down onto a hybrid and a lot of damage onto the Jinx. And Crest Gaming Act yet again taking a trade in the bot lane that maybe they lose a bit too much HP in.
Yeah, well, Kassin is definitely going to be the benefactor of the Scuttle Crab in this bot side as our two top laners, two junglers kind of do the kosher handshake, I guess, is the agreement that typically people do. And Dash is actually pulling very well on this Vex. Isn't catching all of the CS, but doing a pretty decent job at just bullying out Kaito in this matchup. And that's actually a very interesting point because Kaito is not a storied player in the LJL, whereas Dasher has done his time. He's been playing in this league for coming up to, I believe, over 4 to 5 years now at this point, whereas Kaito, he's fresh on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, even this split we talked about, you know, Kaito not necessarily having even any games where he was the carry for CGA. So maybe, you know, this game is going to be slightly different. At least keeping up in CS so far it's a great start, to say the least.
I think
Yeah. All right. Well, also some early recalls coming down. Looking at the bot lane, Marble opting to finish those Boots of Swiftness but going for the call, so opting in for the long haul in terms of farming.
I think I'm back. I hope.
Welcome back.
I'm back. I was just doing some audio issues on my side. Apparently, I wasn't coming through as expected, so kind of an issue. But as you mentioned, that Cloud Drake is now up, and they're going to be looking for this. Kaito trying to find an option here, and if you look at our two top laners, they both have teleport. Nap is actually going back to now rotate around and potentially at least offer that assistance if they wanted to. If they don't have to use their TP, no, he's actually just going to burst it now. So if anything, Hawk should be screaming, let's do this dragon. Nap can't come and assist them, and he's not 6 either, so makes more sense to how apply the pressure. But if you look at where Blank is at the moment, he's just doing his golems.
Yeah, not necessarily the prime Drake taking position here for HAWKS. And a very calm early game it has been. I don't really think anyone tried to push like into the boundaries. Both junglers have very much like just done the handshake, as you mentioned, respecting each other's position in the jungle. And the lanes, even the CS differentials aren't massive.
Yeah, it feels like one of my ranked games where sometimes you just awkwardly handshake as the jungler and just go, well, nothing's going to happen, but Blank's looking for something here.
Yeah, and forces the flash in from Kaito from in the mid lane. Good gank, I'd say.
It's effective, right? As long as Blank comes back to actually pick up that check that was blowing Kaito's flash, it's absolutely a huge benefactor for them. And our 2 junglers are actually going to meet each other for the first time and then go their separate ways. I wonder, is Kassin going to be able to get a micro advantage here with getting both the Scuttle Crabs? Potentially.
Well, I mean, if you look at the gold, yeah. So far, Blank unable to get any actual advantages. As you said, the flash has been blown, but it doesn't matter if you don't go back into this mid lane. So I will be looking at Blank, hopefully making some repeat ganks, especially ones that Onslaught of Shadows is going to be available, together with the Shadow Surge. I mean, that Syndra should have no business walking up in lane.
No, and she also doesn't have, she's gone areas as well, so she doesn't even have like a phase rush to try and hopefully attempt to get her out and save her. And she hasn't got teleport, so she's just recalled and now is having to walk slowly back to base. Same as Dasher, but Dasher still has his flash. Kanatsu decided to blow this, so really just not going to be playing around this Drake at all. We're probably going to have a very slow Drake game if that is a win con for one of these teams regardless, because neither of these junglers have prioritized it to any extent, and they're both actually pathing towards the top side. That means we're going to be getting a Rift Herald fight, and we can already see Nemo has rotated around. I wonder if Reiner will also be doing the same soon.
Yeah, so far pathing towards the ball lane, and you can see the wards in the river. CGA having pretty good control when this Herald will spawn in 10 seconds. So they are going to be favored, at least at the beginning. And the HAWKS, we'll see if they decide to prioritize control over that objective, but I personally think they should.
Well, if we don't at least get some form of a trade from the side of the HAWKS here, it's going to be a really awkward one, as even Hybrid is now rotating around, so we're getting a full 5-man commit from CGA's side here, and HAWKS, you should be just doing the dragon, you should just take the trade. You don't need to fight them here when they have a numbers advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Blank is positioning very far up, but it's 5 members of CGA. They're gonna take the Herald, and Blank is charging in onto Kassin. Nap goes forward, misses the Gnar ult, and it is now the disengage angle from CGA. However, Nemo going deep into the backside with Hybrid on the side, and then we're trying to flash away the Shadow Surge forward, and First Blood is going to be picked up by Dasher. Curtain Call is open, Hybrid flashes over the wall, and 1 kill for HAWKS.
I mean, while I think that's still great for the side of the HAWKS, obviously, it's not everything they needed or wanted, really. It's like, okay, you got a Rift Herald, you got 300 gold. Fantastic. Rift Herald actually equals more gold and could be a bigger board impact if you look at the whole map. So I think this is still great. Problem is, they still watched them just do the objective and still just got here far too late to pick up on the play. Did they necessarily have to go for this? No. Did CJ actually miss a lot of their key ultimates and abilities? Yes. Did Nemo also go in really deep without having 6? Yes. He was that fault that caused it to go so bad, but look at this, CJ just getting to accrue another one.
Oh, Hybrid, that was a glorious rocket. He snipes down Blank from downtown.
Just casual. Just casually like that, mate. This is what our jinxes do.
Mm-hmm. But let's look at the situation objectively, because CGA got the Herald. They lost 1 kill, but now they got the Dragon and a kill on top of that. So really, what do HAWKS have for all their trouble?
So, HAWKS have nothing. They have nothing. They started this Dragon up without having their full numbers advantage. Their bot lane was nowhere near to benefit them, and then Blank... I mean, that's just clean by Hybrid. That is just so clean, the prediction there.
Yeah, I mean, it was effectively a blind ult, only seeing Blank going into the entrance of the jungle. Impressive stuff, and now as we are, 10.5 minutes in the game, The gold lead is still less than 1,000, so nothing necessarily massive, but CGA definitively having control over most of the map. I mean, it only takes you one look at the minimap to see that.
Absolutely, and not only that, it's kind of like, where are the power spikes going to be coming in for these two teams? Because Graves has finished building his hull breaker, so Kunatsu is never planning on joining these team fights. And we've already seen how they're just blowing TPs to go back to their own lane, because that is the only lane that matters to them. So, and now hull breaker is also just being completed by Nar. Okay, so our two top laners are going to ignore the rest of the map unless they come up top side, which is they did do, at least for that Rift Herald. They came top side, and then our top laners at least said hello to everybody. So it means we're mostly going to be looking at 4v4s, and let's see if they can actually find this one. Blank going real deep.
Yeah, down onto Kaito, and Nemo just takes the center play out. Shadow Search forward, finds the fear onto Nemo. There is the hook, and that's Dasher with the second kill. They unleashed power onto Black, not gonna do enough damage, and HAWKS do manage to get a kill for free, so we take those rocket coming in. Nowhere near enough damage.
No, thankfully a slightly tankier Hecarim this time around does prevent any of that. Obviously, Kaito, well, Dasher tanking that one for his jungler is a huge benefit, but Bryna just won't find that hook, and we'll have to rotate around and get back to more of a lull state. And that's an interesting point to make, Kashka. We've mostly been in a lull state game today. There's been brief moments, but nothing really.
Yeah, and I mean, usually when there is a lull state, I try to look at which team is getting more out of it. In terms of gold, neither. There is like a slight CS differential in the jungle. We see now also Kunatsu in the top lane breaking ahead, and of course the 2 kills onto Dasher. But really, which team is going to be happier with this kind of game going into, you know, the 20s in terms of minutes?
That's an interesting point, actually. Which of these two teams would prefer it? You got to go with the team that's got a Jinx. Like, you've got to always side with the Jinx. And I mean, Hybrid's already been having a fantastic performance on this Jinx this game alone, getting that blind kill, has been rotating around the team, just been a step ahead of Marble so far.
I mean, yeah, it really does feel that way. Just getting also that one snipe with the rocket. Admittedly, Jinx has more long-range capabilities as Blank. Engaging onto Nemo yet again, but this time Ryan and Marble are there for the follow-up. Deadly Flourish is going to land yet another hook from Ryan, and Nemo is bursted down, but Kaido coming from the top side. Here comes the dunk from Kassin, and Kaido is going to take down Ryan and Blank, going through the other side of the teamfight, trying to disengage, but Flash forward, unleashed power, that's the stun, and Kassin takes the kill.
And that was actually a 4v4 where the Hawks got the oppression, they got the advantage, they got the first game to play, but they didn't have the follow-up, and they blew so much on a Leona who proc W. Like, that's the thing. She procced Eclipse. Like, you're not going to be able to get through a Leona when she has that shield going up. So much damage gets blown into her, stun, locked, so much time. But she was immune. She was taking half the damage from Dasher and this whole time. And the funny thing is, it's like, Dasher's fine at doing damage, but Blank doesn't do damage. This is tank Hecarim. This is not random one-shot Hecarim that we've seen in the past with like Divine Sunders. No. We've got Bambi Cinder going at the moment, so this is going to take a while for this Hecarim to really start doing much of anything, and it's not going to be a Cloud Rift either. He's already the Cloud Drake, so not going to be great for them. It does seem like the Hawks want to try and get this dragon, but Kassin is already going over, but he's peeing towards his red buff, so okay. Looks like Hawks are going to be able to at least take this Ocean Dragon. What rift are we going to be on?
Let's see. It is Mountain, so one dragon apiece. Not the most exciting dragon, I'm gonna have to admit.
No. I think it does benefit both these teams. I think it slightly benefits CGA a bit more, but I don't think it really breaks the game open for either of these teams.
Yeah, but what it does definitely provide is just opportunity to fight. And from what I've seen so far in the early game, if there is an objective, a neutral one that these teams can fight over, they will. So I'm looking forward to that.
I would actually slightly disagree with you. I think it's actually a non-factor dragon for both these teams, relatively speaking. And I think actually what it will do is it will cause these teams to actually not fight unless one of them can just take it over the other. Like, I feel like vision's going to be a huge factor on if these two teams really care about it, or obviously if one of these teams gets to Dragon's Soul Point, that's when they'll start coming over to the other one. I don't think it's going to be as much of a fighting dragon if it was like an Infernal or Hextech Rift. I think those are the two dragons where we would have seen Hawks and CJ actively fight far more, because it can actually have far more of an impact on these two teams, whereas they're actually going for very similar options. I mean, their builds are almost identical if you look at these two junglers. They've gone for the same item and they've gone upgraded boots. I mean, yes, that's what happens, but we're back into mobility jungle, Kashka, so we've got to go fast. God,
Hell
that's
yeah.
what we're at. Oh God, why?
I mean, things sometimes just happen. As I believe that is the first tower of the game, taken in the bot lane at 16.5 minutes. But hey, it has to happen sometime.
Yeah, I mean, considering our Hawks didn't get a Rift Herald, that's pretty
Yeah, that's
quick.
actually pretty. Yeah. Considering that the Herald got used against them as well, the fact that they get the first tower.
Yeah, where was that first Herald used again? I've already forgotten.
I believe it was bot. I saw it in the picture-in-picture in one of the replays. It got like 2 or 3 plays, which is good usage of Herald, but yeah, didn't translate into the tower.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if Hybrid is also a mild benefactor through that. It obviously that's reasonable place to funnel a lot of your gold through this Jinx, through the Syndra. They're the two options that you'd really want to put money into. I wouldn't put money into really anybody else. Nap is fine too if you think you can actually give him a benefit, but he's gone Hullbreaker first item. Like these two top laners, we have forgotten about them for most of this match, and I think they've forgotten about most of their team. Though both of them do have empowered teleport now, so that's going to be an important one. And you have mentioned Dragon could be an option for both these teams to fight around. I thought they wouldn't, but I mean, with 2 minutes left to spare, it seems like they're already trying to J-Ram again. So I mean, LJL specials are here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if there is a reason to fight and a team wants to fight, they're probably gonna do it. Although I definitely agree with your point. Like, Mountain Soul doesn't feel worth it, but hey, it's up to those teams to decide. Blank and Nash are trying to establish some vision already early on. I mean, this game has just slowed down to a halt. We're 80 minutes and still no gold lead, and it's Hull Breakers. I don't think these guys are dealing damage to each other.
No, and look at that Vampiric Scepter as well there. So Kanatsu is like, oh man, I took some damage from Nap when he went Mega. Cool, guess I'm gonna just have to heal it up. Oh, that's what we're doing here. It's a fun, competitive game of League of Legends. All right. Let's chill out, Kashka, for a podcast episode.
Okay.
Where do we think these two teams are going to find their edge? I'm going to go, it's all going to be for Dasher for the Hawks. What about CGA? You take CGA side. How are they going to win this game? Who's going to be the benefactor? Who's going to be the winning carry?
I think it has to be Hybrid. I mean, already sitting on 2 items on that Jinx and really solid frontline setup with crowd control. If you can just pick off targets one by one, then yeah, that's how CGA should be winning those fights, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like they might even brute force this mid tower, but Blank is pretty deep.
Yeah, and might just have the angle. Both teleports are up and available. Blank has now been spotted. He's charging up, going into the middle of the entire team. And here comes Dasher as well, but Hybrid on the backside is untouched. Kaito already dead. The curtain call is going to deal some damage. Kanatsu teleporting in. Nap almost mega. Looking for the stun to Dasher. Will be able to find it. Gnar into the wall, and that's a dead Vex. 1-for-1 for the time being. Hybrid is excited, but Hawks will just disengage.
And now nothing's gonna happen again except for this Mountain Drake. Oh, they could fight for Mountain. They might do it.
I mean, a lot of ults have been committed, actually.
Oh, wait, no,
all
Blank's
of them.
dead. Blank's almost dead. Nah, they can't fight.
Yeah.
That's
1-for-1 is a very anticlimactic way to end a fight that is set up like this.
Yeah, and I think an issue that the Hawks are gonna face in this match is their jungle taker, well, obviously their main jungle initiation taker is also their initiation. Blank is so all or nothing for the side of the Hawks here. Whereas when you look at it, Kassin doesn't have to be their main engage. Nap doesn't have to be their main engage. Nemo doesn't have to be their main engage. Hilariously, Kaito can be one of their engages if they really had to in a really awkward spot. Like, they have a lot of options for CC chaining controlling. It's honestly all on Blank to really find good angles, or Reiner to just land death sentences through everything and anything. Because outside of that, how else are the Hawks actually meant to control the team fight? They can't.
Yeah. And I think that is what we saw very obviously in that
Yeah.
fight. Kaido got caught out, but the hybrid just flashed away. Cool, Jinx doesn't have flash for the next what? It looks like 3 minutes at this point. But you have to punish that within this very short window, and even then, hybrid has got the cleanse, so it's not like it's going to be any easy locking down this AD carry for CGA.
Oh, and another point. They just brute force CJ did this mid turret with their Rift Herald. They now have mid control, which is basically dragon control. If you've played League of Legends over these last year and a half or so, this opens up the map hugely to have CGA to be able to push the mid wave out and then to rotate around because they can have priority into this. But Nap might be in trouble here.
Yeah, he's just going to hop away on the Nor and yeah, he's good.
Tanks smacking one another. Nemo though wants Reiner.
Unfortunately, is going to miss the Zenith Blade, and that is going to be the end of that play. Solar Flare committed, but that isn't a terribly long cooldown, so I don't think CGA will be too unhappy.
No, it's going to be up for the next mutual objective fight that will happen. Neither of these teams have a particularly fast Baron. Actually, CGA could have a fast Baron when they get to probably the 35 minute mark. Jinx getting excited with a Volibear. Oh no, but it's tank Volibear, so it won't do as much. So it's literally just on these 280 carries. Yeah, I think CJ have a slightly faster Baron. God, it's really weird when you start looking into like, oh well, Graves could help in double AD carry, but it's a Jhin, so Jhin always sucks at taking Baron.
Yeah, it is an awkward game when it comes to that Nasher.
It's just a 5-man fight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to devolve into that, and even like comp-wise, we are going into the I call it the standard comp because I started playing League of Legends when that was the only thing you would see, which is something tanky in the top lane, tank in the jungle, tank engage in the support, and you have the carries in mid and ADC. And the only way that ever gets resolved is just in a team fight. Or split push sometimes.
And I can't really see it going any other way. So we're just going to be in this awkward game state now, I feel, till the next dragon comes. Like, God, are we actually going to play around these dragons? But neither of these teams really care about it. Like, I think, like, by the way, when I say not really care, I just don't think it's going to really change the dynamics. But
Reiner, definitely out of position there, caught out by that Solar Flare, and that's going to be a pick on the support. Not the most valuable one, but it might just be what pushes CGA over for some bigger plays. They're gonna look towards top lane, maybe dive Kinatsu. Let's see, it is going to be a 5-on-1, and the tired Kinatsu is going to try and run away, get stunned up. There is just CC on top of CC, and even more crowd control on top of that, as Kaito will be able to pick up the kill. Right here comes Blank with the onslaught of shadows, blows up Kaito, and the curtain call is going to be open from the bot side. Dasher picks up the kill onto Nap. Shadow Surge has hit. Is he going to take it? No, just 2 kills for HAWKS.
It's back to a 6-6. There we go. Couldn't have one team have an advantage. We had to come in, and that was actually very well played by Blank to actually come in and help secure and kind of shore up the scoreboard as Reiner was just immediately removed from this. Very cleanly done, and I love the fact that CJ had an idea. They had an idea, they executed as best they could, they just went ahead. I love the fact that they just used Kassin to tank up the turret. That's exactly what you've got. You've got a Volibear tanking, do it, but Kaito ended up tanking 2 turret shots, so what that meant is Blank was like, well, I'm pretty sure I could just one-shot this Syndra. Virtually did, and as such, set up for the rest of their team. Nap was just a mini-nar, so can't do anything about it, and then they just disengage, and well, it's going to be a dragon fight as we're 6-6 and 24 minutes in. Jesus, this is kind of a weird game state that we keep finding ourselves in, because when one of these teams gets a slight edge, the other one immediately collapses on because the other team overextends slightly or maybe catches themselves out, can't get themselves away, and 1-on-1 dragons, 6-6 kills, 1-on-1 turret. God, it feels like it's on a knife edge, but it also feels like neither of these teams have enough of an advantage to really kind of push it in their direction.
Yeah, I mean, more than a knife edge, it just feels like it's on a very stable plank. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's just gonna stay in this
Yeah.
equilibrium for a while. That being said, interesting item discrepancy in the ADCs, with Hybrid now completing 3 items. I mean, I believe Marble is sitting on that collector for a while, so should be having at least enough gold for some components for that 3rd item. But still, when it comes to the team fight, Jing's very much stronger than Jin right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 extra kills. They've got about 40 or 30, well, about 30 CS over their counterpart there. So, I mean, it's not too surprising at this moment in time that Hybrid is significantly more powerful. And I mean, Blitzcrank Sung is pretty confident that outside of that minor blip, huge team fight that happened, Hawks have not had the opportunity to actually come back into this game. And I would partially agree, though. Just before CGA, well, rather, Hawks did get that dragon. It seems like they have dipped it down a fair amount. And yes, okay, CGA are slightly ahead here. We're talking 2.5k gold, which at the moment is equal to an item, as you've already mentioned on Hybrid. I don't know if it's going to always be that case, though. But blank, Jesus, man.
Yeah, Kaito no flash is just dead. Now teleport coming in. CGA will be looking to equalize this fight, but now teleport in doesn't do anything with that. It is just a pick for Hawks. They force the teleport out, and Kaito doesn't have flash for the next team fight. That's the big thing.
Kaito also does have teleport himself, but there's no super deep wards that he can go onto in Hybrid. While I think you've got a cute idea here, you don't want to go too much further over a Graves. Graves can just blind you, and he will win that 1v1. He will win that 1v1.
Yes, you can't do anything about it, really. But clearing out the wave seems to be just good enough, and Hawks will take the top lane tier 1, so trying to close that gold gap a bit. And I mean, we saw what Graves does to a turret alone before a Hybrid came down. Basically took more than half of it in, what, 5 auto attacks? Something around that. So yeah, the goal has been closed a bit. Hawks keeping it within just about 1k.
And I love actually what Kanatsu did there. He decided to actually leave the lane with Hybrid. When Hybrid showed that he was going to leave, he was also going to leave and rotate around. But look at this. Baron's been started up. I don't think Hawks know this.
Not at all, no idea. Seems like. Yeah, there is going to be a free Baron for Crest Gaming Act.
What is this game, man? I was about to just praise Kanatsu. I was like, oh, he riffed it. He left at the same time. He observed vision, went around, got the Scuttle Crab, then pushed his lane out, gets this bot tower. I'm like, oh, this is really well played macro-wise from Hawks. And then they're just giving a Baron over, so I can't really... I want to congratulate them, but at the same time, bad Hawks. Bad. And now it's honestly all on Dasher. Because Dasher is the only player really on the side of the Hawks where, against their counterpart in their lane, they are actually ahead. They have been the benefactor of a lot of these initiations and finds that the Hawks have found, and Marble hasn't been that benefactor, and you can definitely feel it now when it comes to the AD carry kind of carry ability. Hybrid is 16, Marble is 14. Hybrid, as you mentioned, had 3 items. Marble has just finished it, but Hybrid's got a BF sword and a stopwatch. Like, even if you get on top of him, stopwatch, the Hecarim ult, don't have to worry about anything. Most likely that's how that will go, because the rest of his team will play frontline, because he's got frontliners. He's got double frontline player. Well, he's got triple frontline, really, with one of them that can play more Protect the President, with Kaito also doing Protect the President. So, Hawks, you're going to need to find a big team fight, but that's their option into this, but they've got Baron against them now.
Yeah, the next 2 minutes is going to be tough, but I mean, I'm just going to be looking for Dasher, for Blank, see if they can find any of those big ultimates. Hybrid is your target, for sure, but as you have just outlined, it is going to be excessively difficult to try and burst him down, as side positioning around this dragon. All 5 members of Hawks are just waiting. Is going to transform. Oh, Marble takes way too much damage. Nemo catches them out. Flash away from the Jin. The rocket goes wide, and Blank in the backside is trying to get the crowd control. And Nap is going to go down. Dasher goes golden in the middle of the fight. 2 kills already for Hawks, and here comes the onslaught of Shadows. But Hybrid is still alive on the backside and gets the kill, as he said. Gets excited. Kanatsu taking barely any damage, but isolated from his team. Surely he will fall down. Marble takes down Kessin, and Kanatsu is out. What is going on?
I'm not sure, mate. I'll be honest with you there. I'm not sure. Uh, how did Hawks come out on top?
I mean, let's take a look at it because I have zero idea.
I'm still trying to comprehend. Like, I mean, this is really well played when it comes to the side of of the Hawks actually getting Marble out and just getting so much distance between these twos and setting up for the curtain call. Obviously, Hybrid at the back of this is struggling to find the great angles. They do get a small amount of that, but obviously Blank just goes super deep, and that gets Hybrid excited, and it feels really good. And you're like, oh, okay, actually, this might be an angle where they can come out. Oh my god, that's just the longest line ever. Wow. Mate, I don't know. I don't really know how to judge this game. This has been such a weird one. It feels like these two teams are like jostling for position and neither of them can quite edge out the other one. It's like, okay, so Hawks were on top, but because their jungler died, CGA get the dragon. God, are we actually going to fight around Dragon Soul, which isn't going to really impact this game?
I think that is where every sign is pointing to right now.
Why? Why?
You see, that I can't answer for you.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I don't like. Okay, so where do these two top laners have to fight around? Because we have still got two Hullbreaker top laners, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to see now is Kanatsu just going back to top lane, just brute forcing it as Blank is on Nemo at the moment. Oh god, they're going.
Yeah, they're going in for sure. Dasher will pop that Zonius, and Blank takes Nemo down as the first of the fight, but Reyna goes golden, is going to get rooted by those traps and is just dead. Hybrid gets excited, Nap is mega, tries to go forward, but doesn't find the ultimate, and Kinatsu together with Blank on the front line just stalling the game. Also, though, Shadow away. Please tell me it's going to be more than just the supports dying.
Turret.
Let's go. Okay, well, Hybrid gets excited. Not too much.
I'll go forward because Dasher just will fear him, and then that's insta dead, and we're back at it again, mate. We're back at it again. The support's dying, and one mild objective going over to the side of one of these two teams. CJ have been the benefactor of the last two small objectives going. It was that dragon beforehand, that turret this time. All right, I'm starting to become a CGA believer. If Hybrid can hit this, oh, if he had. He's already hit one of those onto Blank. If he had done it onto Marble there, that would have been clean.
That would be nasty. But yeah, I think coming back to what you just mentioned there, I would say I am starting to favor CGA as well, mostly because, I mean, Jinx is just allowed to free scale. Look at Hybrid's CS, by the way. We are 33 minutes in the game.
What is going on in this match, dude? Like actually what's going on in this game? Like, it still feels like Hybrid should just run over the next big team fight. Which is concerning with that Bloodthirster.
Yeah. I mean, GA completed this well, so very defensive build. Well, in the grand scale, picture of things that you can do with Jinx. But I don't think I necessarily blame him, because we have seen Hawks just commit into the backline time and time again. As CGA grouping around the mid, potentially looking for an engage. Solar Flare finds the slow into Blank. Blank holds out. That's it. So Baron is gonna be the objective, I guess, now. This time Hawks no. It's down to 8,000. Let's see what they're going to do. It is taking a lot of damage. I mean, 5-item Jinx tends to do that. The curtain call is going to be used. Baron down to 800, and it is taken by Kassin. Now Hawks in the disengage, but that's one kill. Hybrid is excited. Dash on the backside looking for Hybrid, but he can't find enough damage, and Hybrid is just life-stealing into eternity. That's going to be the kill. Double kill picked up by the carry of CGA, and with Dasher dead, Hawks have basically no more engage. They will try to fall back. They will try to keep this game alive. Death timers are 30 seconds. I mean, okay, I'm not too optimistic. The game's not over.
Although Hybrid, how much ruthless aggression? Were they a WWE fan when they were a kid or not? Because, I mean, look at this. They're pushing pretty hard, dude.
I think I spoke too soon. I think I might have. CGA, they've got the Baron wave. It's not the biggest one out there, admittedly. Kaito is going to just focus the bot side tower. Blank will come up from respawn. And so HAWKS will at least have one more chance to fight, but now, down 2 inhibitors, the soul is spawning in 10 seconds. I feel like that's the first time in this game where we can definitively say, CGA, they're in control, the game is in their hands.
Yeah, 5k Baron power play at this moment in time. Not a Red Bull one, but it's still a pretty good one nonetheless. This Dragon Soul won't be huge, but hey, it's a cherry on top and a reward for a fantastic team fight. And honestly, so many members of CJ should take a bow, but in fairness, at the same time, they just played their team comp just very cleanly. As weird as it is to say, it's like, well done, CJ. You played a 5-man front-to-back team fight, and it worked really, really well. Because if you look at this, who are the benefactors? Who are the people that are always on the front line? It's the people that need to be in. As you mentioned in that play-by-play, Dasher tried to go onto Hybrid, couldn't find it, and he just life-stealed out through the rest of this team fight. And his team played frontline. When you have 3 frontline champions, that's all you need to do. Protect the president. Hybrid is the president, and I think he's making a really good candidate run, personally.
For sure, and also now picking up the Phantom Dancer instead of the boots. I mean, I'm sorry, if Dasher can blow up Hybrid, then there isn't a lot that can threaten this Jinx this game, especially now with the Mountain Soul as well. I say that as Hybrid gets rooted very close to the tower, but you know, we're just gonna overlook that.
Mega nah, it's fine,
Yeah.
Oh, not anymore, bad. But there's also, remember, there's also just Wally Barrel if it all looks really bad, but they're going.
Yeah. They are going in, absolutely, and Hybrid already takes the first kill onto Ryan, and then members of HAWKS are just falling one after another. That is going to be the 3rd inhibitor, and with Dasher, Marble, and Blank, let's see how much they can do. Here comes the Shadow Surge. Nap is taken down, but no one can hurt Hybrid. That is going to be the first turret falling as well. Hybrid takes down Dasher, and this game is as good as done. It was not pretty. Man, was it long and painful, but Crest Gaming Act will take the win at the end of the day.
There you go.